Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Super Action Statue Purple Haze figure from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. I know a lot of you guys like Jojo's out there, and this figure is one that I think most of you are going to like. I've reviewed a bunch of these guys at this point, and I have a bunch more to review, so if you're into Jojo's, check out the playlist for those figures specifically. If you're into import figures, I have a playlist for those as well, so make sure you check those out. This guy, he's not the best Jojo's figure that we've looked at, but he's not the worst. He's pretty much kind of in the middle. He's got some really nice features and then some issues throughout. So let's get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6¼ inches to the top of his helmet, which makes him just under 16 centimeters. Obviously you can get him a little bit straighter, the legs are a little out right now, but he's right around that size. And everything you see, if it looks like it's sculpted, it is. All of those little checkerboard patterns, which they're really more like diamonds, that's all sculpted in there, so that's really cool. You guys know the Super Action Statue Jojo's figures generally have pretty good paint. This one's kind of in the middle again. They did paint all of those checkerboards. They did paint all of the little silver dots in between the checkerboards. They're shading throughout the white, but all of it's just a bit sloppy, a bit muddy. It'll look fine at arm's length. It's really not too bad, but if you look too close, you'll notice the issues. But otherwise, it's all right. We have those nice metallic gunmetals for the crotch and shoulder pads and knee pads, and we have some purple metallic in there. Generally, it's a really cool figure, and we have that cool translucent face mask. So that's pretty nice. Before we get into the figure anymore, though, let's take a look at the accessories. The first of which is an alternate head. So we have the standard head right there, and then the alternate one, which is slightly different inside. It looks like, well, I can't really tell from my angle right now, and I didn't look that close prior to the video. Looks like the eyes might be slightly different, and then we have that clear thing on the mouth there. But it's a really nice head sculpt, and I love that translucent helmet. Looks like the helmet itself is actually black on this one and gunmetal on this one, so that's interesting. Might just be a variation in the production, not sure. But still, really cool. Then we have alternate hands, so you have a fist hand right here. Nicely detailed hands on this guy, lots of paint application there, so that's cool. So fist hands on both sides. Then we get these kind of, well, there's 4 different jazz hands or style pose hands. I might not have them in the appropriate groupings to pair them up. I don't. But we have them, so that's cool. We have these 2 here, and then we have these 2 here. Yeah, I grabbed them on each side instead of at the same time, but that's okay. So we have 2 different style pose hands there. So we also have the pointing finger hand, which looks nice. And then we have this fist hand, which I didn't even notice until just now. It looks like it's, the only difference is, if I can grab the right one, that one golden bead thing is busted, I guess. Is that a thing from the show? I don't know, you guys can let me know, but we have that. And then lastly, we have our display stage, which is oh so common with the Jojo's figures, which is awesome. Has that speech bubble thing right there, and the display stand, which also you can peg this in this side if you want to. I don't know why you would. We have the upright piece for the figure itself. I do wish you could combine the upright piece with the speech bubble piece. Why is that not pegging in? Oh, that's a stiff one. That's what she said. So you have that. It's a 3-piece upright, no problem. And you have this extension piece on here, though I don't think it's necessary for this particular figure. Well, it's kind of necessary. Not really. Those spikes could get in the way. All right, so decent accessories. Not a bunch, but enough. Let's look at the figure up close. We already saw that the paint work is okay. The sculpt work is on point. They did a good job with that. It's all sculpted nicely. As far as the articulation goes, it's pretty standard. Most of it's pretty good. The head is on a hinged ball peg. You see the neck right there, top of the neck. So you can bring the head all the way off if you want to. You can hinge it back or forward, and then of course it'll spin around on there. So that's pretty good. The neck is not supposed to pop off. It's just a fixed ball peg though, so you can pop that right back on. And it's not the best neck joint we've seen from the Jojo's figures. It's got that big gap and it sits kind of far forward to do much. But as long as you lean it forward, it looks okay. It's not a big deal. Now here's one thing I'm really happy about. The shoulder pads. This is how you do a shoulder pad. This is how most companies should do it. There's actually another technique that works well, but this one's pretty darn good also. And this is the shoulder pad that's independently hinged but connected to the internal part of the joint, to the disc part. So when you raise up the arm, that doesn't move. So you can keep that shoulder pad in place, no problem. And then even when you rotate the arm around, the shoulder pad follows it. So you're always going to have that shoulder pad right where you need it. That's how they need to do Iron Man figures. That's how they need to do anybody with a shoulder pad like that. It's perfect design. You have a bicep swivel right there, double jointed elbow right there. That works just fine. You can technically rotate at the top and bottom, but that tends to get stiff and problematic, so I wouldn't really recommend it. The wrists have hinged ball pegs. Wow, that's not what it is. It's a ball hinge with a straight peg for the hands, and that goes into the wrist also. We have a single peg for the upper torso, which gives him pretty good range. It's not too bad. And then the lower torso is a single peg also. So if you really need to bend him, you can. That's one of the things these guys are good for. Most of the time, it's really dynamic posing, except for the hips, and we're going to get to that right now. This is a floaty crotch piece that hides the joints. The hips can bring all the way forward, can come all the way forward. I can't word today, but they go all the way forward, so that's really nice. Out to the side, not so much. It's pretty limited. Some of the JoJo's figures are like that. This is one of them. We do get this thigh swivel in here, so that's really nice. And if you'll notice, the hip joint is entirely sculpted, so it's going to hide perfectly well in there, and it's very nice looking. Knee joint works really nicely. They did a good job. Let's see if I can get that in focus. They did a good job designing that, so I'm really pleased with the knee joint. Then the ankle is a ball hinge, so you can bring that foot pretty far forward, pretty far back, and if you want to rotate it around, give yourself a really nice ankle rocker, you can do that. And then we have a toe hinge, which is super floppy and not really good for much, but it's there. So all in all, it's a really solid figure. It's probably not the best in the bunch, but it's far from the worst, so slightly above middle of the spectrum, I guess we could say. So I do recommend it. It's going to look cool on a shelf with that crazy pattern on there. And he has those nice spikes on the back, and just a really cool looking character. I think I need to watch JoJo's, guys. I wasn't going to do it. It's on my list, but it's at the very bottom of my to-do list, so I think I'm going to have to bump it up. Anyway, it's a cool figure and I recommend it. Again, if you like JoJo's figures, check out that playlist. And make sure you come back to the channel, subscribe to the channel, because I have new videos every day of various action figure reviews, custom figures, video games, movies, TV, talking about all those kinds of things. Lots of fun stuff here, so make sure you subscribe, guys. And in the meantime, keep collecting.